So what is the remedy for this particular one? How do we learn this? How do we begin to make it right? How do we begin to learn how to, at least for us the younger ones, make our marriages and our relationships healthy? That is one question.
Okay.
And now the second one is oh my god. Okay, please answer the first one.
Okay.
Okay.
What I believe, what I think would be a good thing for us to do as a society is to get to that place where we are learning. If we find someone who has a relationship that you can vouch for, or you see that you like, ask them, talk to them. There are books today that people can also read, but it's important to have a mentor in the area of marriage, and I believe it starts pre-marriage.
Yes.
Pre-marriage. My husband and I just finished. I'm here in Nigeria, but we were doing pre-marriage course with a couple that's getting married next month on Zoom.
Yeah, really. Oh,
yeah.
Advanced.
So I'm on exactly. So I'm on Zoom here. They are over there in Australia. Everyone is in their home, and we're doing this. 4 of us having a Zoom conversation and going through the course. I believe that we should be humble enough to go through a program like that.
Yes.
And learn what it's like, and just and watch others who have gone through or had.
Yes,
right.
and how
listen
they exactly.
Yeah, listen to them. It's important. It helps you say, oh, okay. So was that what the mom and dad meant? Was that what happened when they? Because in our culture, there are things we don't talk about.
Exactly.
We don't, and we think the children will understand when they get married, and then they get married, they're even more confused. So it's important. The way to remedy it is to find somebody who engage in the conversation. Pre-marriage courses are important. Start having the dialogue, having the conversation. I believe it's important.
Okay,
Yeah.
so thank you so much. These tips have been so wonderful. I believe you're writing something down. Even if you're not writing, I believe that you've been assimilating a lot of knowledge from this very wise woman. I told you she's very intelligent. So now we'll move to my next question.
Okay.
Which is, what are the conditions for leaving a relationship? You said here that some of the people in relationships, or some of us, the society, are not patient enough to work out our relationships because we feel there is a problem or they are doing something not right, and we can't wait for them to sort out their mess, so we leave them and move to the next person. But I feel there are certain conditions to actually walk away. So what are those, a few of them?
Okay. I am a strong believer in marriage. I love marriage. I love everything about relationship, the marriage relationship. And so I'm on a mission to help build really strong marriages. My husband and I are on a mission to build strong marriages. So what we believe is every marriage can be rescued. Every marriage can be rescued. But where you are in a relationship where you can't talk, it's called emotional abuse. There's emotional abuse, right?
Yes.
There's physical abuse. There's financial abuse.
Yeah.
But when it comes to things like the physical abuse, somebody getting angry and beating you up. And by the way, women do you know women beat up the men?
That's true too. That's true.
They punch them because they know that the man, they will not hit back.
But this particular one is very common overseas.
They know that the man will not hit back.
Yes.
And so they hit him the more. And they know that if they talk to the police, the man will be evicted from the house or something. That is wrong. It's a no-no.
Completely.
And sometimes there are psychological problems behind that. There are mental health issues. That's another thing as a society we don't actually see. That some people do have mental health issues. People don't always admit to having mental health issues and problems. And when it starts to manifest, for some, it's like postnatal. So they've just had a baby, or they're pregnant, and the hormones are doing their things. It triggers whatever chemical imbalance that is there. It triggers things, and they start to behave in a very irrational way. And for the guy, it could be maybe they've remembered something, or it could be the same for the woman, and then problems start to come up. But because they've never identified that they've had pre-existing mental health problems, it has never been talked about, it's never been dealt with. They don't know how to treat it. People do have mental health problem, and they can still have very good, long-lasting relationships. We've seen that happen. What they need is to have a medical professional that they go to, so they know what the triggers are, and they go for treatment. But in our society, especially Africans, Nigerians, it's a taboo to talk about mental health issues. And so people have these things, and unfortunately somebody else, totally oblivious to the fact that they have mental health problem, becomes a spouse to them. And when their triggers happen, they become their victims. They start to abuse them. So I don't think people should stay or condone. We don't condone abuse in relationships. I don't think it's right. No,
whatever kind of abuse.
There are things that you can try and work out. If somebody does something wrong, you need to be able to draw their attention to it. See if you think, my goodness, did that just happen? You know,
what just happened right now?
What just happened? Excuse me. You know, you put the pause here. Pause. What just did he just? How did that happen? And people who are abusive physically don't always suddenly start it. There would have been traits of it. There's a pattern.
It starts with raising your voice.
Yes, it would have started while you were dating, and you thought it was okay. Because we're desperate to marry.
That's the thing, desperate to marry.
Because we're desperate to marry. I'm the last one in my family to get married, and so I have to marry anybody. And he's beat you. He threw you out of the car while you were going to see his grandmother at his father's place, and And then those are the red flags, the red flags
that you ignore, that come back haunting after you've settled.
Exactly. You need to address them at the beginning. So somebody does something, you say, excuse me, did you just slap me? What was that? Excuse me? No, it's not acceptable. And then he should be able to say, oh my gosh. Then you know that you're working with someone who has a mental health issue. If they don't remember that they slapped you, there's mental health problem.
They're not okay. That's a serious problem.
So you can then address it. You need to bring it to their attention, talk about it. And I mean, there's so much here. This is something that I love, and there's so much to talk about in the area of marriage and relationship. And it's big, but as much as it's within our power, let's work together.
Let's make amends.
Talk to someone, get people you trust involved. There's a counselor, there's a teacher, there's always somebody to work with.
Okay, I think growing up, personally, I think there is something like childhood trauma, that we all carry along without even knowing. I know that Nigeria, let's not talk about you're a different person, but every experience I've had is in Nigeria, and I've never left Nigeria for the first time. So everything I know, I've been shaped living in this country. So I think a lot of us growing up, we have childhood traumas that we don't even know that we have. Sometimes when you now find the right person, you end up ruining things for yourself because of the weight you're carrying. You don't know that you have to resolve this issue. You're always yelling at your partner. You're always trying to be the man, even when you're a lady. You're trying to always have things under check. You can't relax and have things sorted out. Like, that is the problem. So in a situation like this, what do you advise both the man and the woman to do?
That is a very, very good observation. And a lot of it is observed when people are overseas. When they are in a society that frowns at certain things, when they're in a society that talks openly about trauma, things start to come back to people. Because to live in an environment like ours, in a society like ours, you really need to be able to live. We seem to be living on a survival mode all the time. And so we are busy. We party the most. We are doing all
we don't pay attention. We are trying to distract ourselves from the major things we should be focusing on.
Exactly. Exactly. So we keep going. 1 minute there's a traditional marriage. By the time we finish that traditional marriage, there's a funeral. Then there's the
birthday party.
There's all these parties and parties and parties and parties going on.
Yes.
And depending on your status in the community, of course you get invited. Your chairman here. There's all of those things going on. And so when we are in an environment where there are moments of peace, moments where we pause, the trauma comes up.
Yes.
We start to remember, the memories come. And the person that was nice to you saw as a nice person not too long ago, becomes an enemy. They say something and you think they ignore me. Because everyone else, people who cause the trauma, that's how they...
Yes. So you start picking behaviors.
You start to notice things.
There's really problem.
People start to then notice things and think, he behaves like so and so.
Exactly.
She is now talking like so and so. She wants to control me like so and so. And you start to see a pattern. But it was probably all there. Or then again, it was not. It was just you are coming into a recognition of the trauma, but without giving it a name yet. We just have memories coming back. So some of the traumas could be sexual abuse that people have experienced as growing up, which is quite common in a lot of villages. People go through sexual abuse, neglect, physical abuse. So when someone raises their voice at the person in a marriage or calls them, somebody's distracted and then somebody calls their name, it brings back the memory and they see the abuser that was traumatizing them as children, and immediately the two are linked, and the person in front of them, the loving, caring husband or wife, is suddenly that's right. That is so true. And then the person changes. The dynamics in the family starts to change because they have unresolved issues. So someone has hurt you, has cut you, and now 20 years later, you're bleeding all over somebody else. So these are some of the things that in our culture now in Nigeria, there's psychologists in Nigeria. So I believe that people can, if they would only admit it, that they can go seek help.
But it's not common.
It's not. Some people don't like to admit that there's a problem.
And sometimes you don't know where to find them.
Yes.
They are not accessible. You have to either use a link or something. But then I feel maybe in general hospitals or somewhere, even when we were in secondary school, we had an office for guidance and counseling.
Exactly.
Yes,
so I remember.
But we could only go to them for academic
counseling.
So now there is nothing like that anywhere around here that I have seen personally. Except maybe in developed cities like Abuja and Lagos and all of that. But those down here, like what then do we do? Is there any self-help, self-remedy, something we should do to at least get over it when it comes up?
Yeah, I believe what we need to do, sometimes people say, oh, go to the pastor. You could go to them if they are aware, if they are in tune with the rest of the world, if they are in tune with the fact that there is something called trauma. Yes, there are spiritual issues, but trauma is real.
Yes.
Abuse is real.
Of course.
Neglect is real. When there are people who acknowledge those things, that it is real, you're not just making it up, they can then provide the support. So
Yes.
churches can be a place that can provide support as long as they are going to listen to both of you equally.
Without judging, yes.
And not judging
and taking
too
sides,
soon.
yes.
Yeah. They need to be able to sit with you and judge fairly and be able to have the necessary conversation with the couple, with the young couple, or with the young person, without being on the critical side, without and being able to understand confidentiality. A lot of the times in our community, in our society, we don't understand or appreciate confidentiality. We think that they've told us, so we have to tell everybody
people,
else.
yes.
We don't have to.
Or
It's
even
not-
your parents.
Yeah.
Doctors do that a lot. Doctors do that a lot. Teachers do that a lot. But I think in cases of teachers, maybe you have to report your child's academic growth
That's
to
a
know
different
where
thing.
the problem is coming from.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. But sometimes that doesn't stop it from making the child feel embarrassed, because some parents don't know how to handle don't know how to handle things like this. They take it upon the child and they begin to call them names and use them, and all these things actually build up the trauma that we're talking about. Because when you're growing up with your siblings, there is someone doing better,
Yes.
so they start to compare you. But this child did this one time and succeeded, so why do you have to do yours more than one time? But they fail to understand. I think the remedy of this, I will say this myself for this particular one, I think the remedy is when you're parenting, you understand your child as an individual. Ada is different from Obi. Obi is different from Emmanuel. And the more you pay attention to one child specifically, you know that this child likes beans, the other one likes rice, it does better. And you try to enable them, even when they are messing up, you try to speak positivity into their lives, and they pick that up while they grow up. They could be doing the wrong thing, but you say, this is my child, I know you're doing this because you're smart. This is very nice of you to have done this, and you can do it better in this way. Try to call them with love. So that is that. For that, I'm really enjoying this conversation. But then I think I have one more question. The more I want to ask one more question, the more other questions keep coming up.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, because you're really a fun guest to be with. You should have known this by now. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, I think one question I want to find out is the last question probably would be, how does one know that they are ready to be committed? How do you know you're ready to go into the next level of commitment, taking up that next level, maybe getting married and all that? Yes.
Another beautiful question. Truly a great question, a necessary question to ask. How does one know? You know when you know. You are ready when you can actually handle a conversation with another adult and not take it personal. That's very important. And see the other person as a human being, not an enemy. If you can sit with somebody and you see them as a friend, not a foe, and you believe that you can learn from them, and vice versa, you are ready. When you feel that you can handle your finances, when you get to that stage where you believe that you can actually take care of your home, you can take care of your cooking, you can take care of your your space, because some of those things may not matter now when you're still sucking air, but eventually it will matter. Make sure that you are able to take care of to handle situations in the home.
Basic things.
The basic things in the home. You
Without
can do your
applying
budgeting.
gender.
Yeah.
A man can cook.
Everybody.
A man can clean.
If you can eat, you should be able to do it.
Yeah.
You don't need to be the best. You should be able to make a toast, put some baked beans on it, and eat it. Slap some butter on it and eat it. You should be able to make your pasta, make some rice, or make some potato or salad, or the two of you are cooking, or you can read a cookbook. You should be able to read a cookbook together, make some meal together, cut some fruits together, eat something together. And did you hear the constant there?
together. Yes.
Together. Because you're in this, it's a journey that you started on.
Yes.
And neither of you have been on this journey before.
Sure.
And so you should be able to help each other adjust to the new norm that you have.
And learn while at it.
While at it.
And for some who, they said, Anamo. Exactly. So for those of you or those of us who do not know how to cook and clean and all that, I think it's also good if you can employ people to help you do that. Your spouse must not do everything for you.
Right.
Yes, if they can do it and then maybe they do it a whole week, you should be able to take out a Sunday and take them out.
Yeah.
Relieve them of all the stress that comes with that. That's also good. It helps build marriages.
Yeah.
Other than making sure my wife must do this, it must be fresh food, it must be this, she must wash my clothes. Like, there are other things to be doing with time.
Like I cook.
Yes.
But my husband loves to cook. There's a big difference. I cook. I enjoy cooking too. But he loves to cook.
Amazing.
He loves to cook, and there are things that he cooks better than I do. And so when we get in the kitchen to cook together, we love cooking together. So when we're cooking, I can do the talking. I can do the talking, keep him company while he's doing that. So I could be doing the dishes or whatever, depending on what we're making. I could be cracking the eggs, beat the egg. I could chop up the onions if that's what he's making the omelets. He's making some omelets for us, or something like that. I could do that. Or if I'm cooking, he could be doing the dishes. He could wash the dishes for me. He could wash the vegetables that I'm going to cook with. But the thing is, we're doing it together.
Yes.
And we are in it together.
And having fun.
And we're having fun while at it. And on weekends when we're cleaning, I could start with the outside, doing in the garden. He starts from the inside. The house, he's doing whatever needs to be done in the house. He's cleaning inside and I'm cleaning outside. And if every now and again we get someone to come in and do the house, to clean the house for us. And that's something that is okay, to get someone to do your housework for you every now and again, if you can afford it. If it's something that you can afford, or do what you can. Start with one room or one space. If you do it regularly, it becomes a habit, and your house is not as dirty that will require you to spend the whole week cleaning. So it's something that you're doing together. It's a joint effort. It's a family thing. It's not, the cooking is not meant for the woman alone. The cleaning is not just for the woman. You do it together. You spend one morning, you do what you have to do, and a Saturday morning or something, that's it.
This is such a beautiful conversation. I don't want it to end, but oh God, I'm going to miss you. So let me ask one more thing. Just one more thing. I've said one more thing before, but I'm going to ask. So, what are some of the compromises one can make in marriage? There are things like that, don't there? Yeah. So, what are some of them? Is it healthy to do that? And when should we know that this person is exploiting us? They are taking advantage of our kind gestures, of us trying to compromise. I'm talking about those who are already married. Maybe they didn't get the chance to do it right, or they don't even know anything about marriage. So when should they know that, no, this is too much for me to compromise in my marriage?
Okay. I believe, and I write that in the book, when people first meet, everything that you know about you really need to tell your spouse. Everything about you, everything about your past should not be a secret to your spouse. So true.
What do you mean
everything? If you've had relationships in the past, your spouse should be the first to know. If you're going to marry that person, they need to know. And there's always a time, that is that trust. You build trust that way. You need to tell the other person, I have had a relationship with so and so.
Okay.
I had a child, or I did this, or I did that. and they should also be able to tell you what they have done in their past. And this is a relationship that is progressive, and you're not planning to go back to your ex. It's important to talk about that. It helps you start afresh on a clean slate, where you are now completely and totally devoted to each other. Remember the wedding vows. It says forsaking all others. Forsaking all others. I'm not saying that the memories will go away. There's some memories that are, from the past that would sometimes take a center stage in your marriage. They shouldn't, but eventually they will leave you. And they leave when you are making this marriage, this relationship, a priority. But if the person keeps sneaking back to their exes and keeps sneaking back, with social media, your friends with your ex online on social media. No, they should not be your friend.
Yes.
They should be just that ex. Cancel,
blocker,
block, delete, block, ban. But what's the other thing they do? Block them.
Blacklist
them. Report them to Facebook.
Oh God!
Whatever.
Take down the account.
No, don't do it.
It's not that deep.
No, let them leave. It's a situation of leave and let leave.
Yeah, exactly.
But not with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't be snooping to see what's going on in my
life.
world.
Yes.
No, we are done. We don't meet each other anywhere. We can't hang out. No. If we meet at a social event, if they must, hey, this is. Remember I told you? Oh, my husband. And then you guys keep. Oh, remember? Just leave it there. Go. Move on. Don't hang out with people that will bring the two of you together again. No. So people need to. Those are some of the things that people will say. Oh, but the way my. No. You don't compromise there. There's no compromise there. Everyone needs to just move on. Don't go to their wedding.
Yeah.
Don't go. It's not necessary. Because sometimes you might be okay with it and you've moved on, but they've probably not moved on.
And the people that know you, that you guys were together.
That's right.
Yes, they keep reminding you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. So those compromises, they're things that you compromise, but things from the past relationships.
Oh my God, this has been such an awesome, amazing conversation. It felt like it has impacted me more than I think the viewers. Please, if you're watching this, kindly leave a comment in the comment section.
Already subscribe, and she's good.
You're good too. She has a YouTube channel. I said that before. I'll leave it down here. Everything you need to know about this lady, like her YouTube channel, her social media account, of course, I'll leave it in the description box. Do well to check that out. I've had such a fulfilling conversation. Like, it was so enriching. I didn't even want it to end, but we just have to go because we have other things. And I promised you it was going to be an hour, which I think we've elapsed already. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. It's a pleasure. It still is a pleasure to have you here on my channel, because I have this video to show that I once met you and we had this conversation. So guys, if you've learned something or she has enriched your life in any way, please let her know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to her channel. And do you have any last words for us?
A big thank you for the opportunity to hang out with you. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I have had so much fun. Thank you so much, Sylvia. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to hang out with you. And to hang out with you guys. You better like. You need to like.
Remember.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Of course.
If you haven't already. Okay. And share it. Share.
Yeah, if you want to see her next time, you have to do all these things that she has told you. That is the only way she can come back here. And if you want me to keep bringing guests here, please let me know in the comment section. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
See ya.
All right.